The following program contains mature subject matter. Listener discretion is advised. Montreal's news talk leader, CJAD 800 presents Passion with sex therapist Dr. Laurie Betito. To reach Dr. Laurie, call 514-790-0991. Star Talk, a free call on Bell Mobility, and 800-491-CJAD. Now, here's Dr. Laurie.
Welcome to Passion, a show all about love, sex, and relationships. I'm Dr. Laurie Betito, clinical psychologist and sex therapist. And tonight it is our regular monthly feature, the very last of 2011, Dating Dilemmas. I'm joined, as per usual, with Frank Kermit is here. He's a dating coach, best-selling author, and educator. He's also a relationship columnist for the West End Times newspaper. He can be reached at franktalks.com. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Laurie. Pleasure to be here.
So we're talking, obviously, whenever we talk about dating dilemmas, we talk about singlehood, and we open up our lines. If you have questions about dating, about being single, about meeting people, then you can join us tonight, and you can ask your questions at 514-790-0991. You can also text us at 514-800. One of the things that's really, really difficult at this time of year, and I've had a few people come into the office pretty devastated in the last week because of a breakup. I don't know what's worse. You know, the holiday's already stressful enough. And, you know, when you're breaking up with somebody and you're dealing with all those feelings of grief and you have to face roomfuls of people, that's the last thing you want to do. You just want to curl up in bed and just wallow in your self-pity for a while. Can't do that at holiday time.
The holiday time is one of the worst times for people to break up. But part of the problem is that the holidays are also a time of reflection. And this is when people start to question if they really want to be in the relationships they're in.
Okay.
Heartbreak over the holidays is something that's very common. If you date at all, at some point, it's going to happen to you. You're going to end up alone during the holiday season. And no, you're not going to want to face everybody. But that's part of the process of grieving. You have to get used to the new normal. And that means that when it's time to just go out there and meet new people, the holidays are a good time for that.
Well, I'd like to ask our listeners if you've ever been dumped right before the holidays, or maybe you've dumped somebody right before the holidays, and maybe the pressures of the holiday actually factored into your breakup. Maybe you've recognized a pattern that you find yourself alone every holiday season, and maybe we need to look at that. We'd love to hear from you at 514-790-0991. So we know the holidays obviously are a hectic time for everybody in terms of running around, shopping, planning, doing, financial worries, all of these things. What are some of the pressures, particularly on, let's say, single people or dating people?
Well, let's look at it. If you're dating somebody and the holidays are coming up, first question you're going to start asking yourself, am I going to bring my new partner over to meet my friends and my family during the holidays?
Sometimes that could be the first time they meet the family. Is that a good time to meet everybody at holiday time?
Here's when it's a good time. When you know that you want people to be aware that you're in a relationship with your partner.
Okay.
If the answer is yes, we're publicly a couple, then the next available holiday is the greatest time to bring and have your partner meet everybody one shot, get it over with.
What if you're not so serious? Or what if you think that that's pushing the relationship into a level of seriousness you're not ready for by the holiday season? Let's say you've only been dating a few months and you don't feel like you're ready yet to introduce to the entire family because you know what happens after that, the pressures, right? How is so-and-so, and when are you two going to get married, and, you know, blah, blah, blah.
The biggest mistake that people make in exactly that situation is that they bring their partner but introduce their partner as their friend.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Okay, why not? Wouldn't you be avoiding those questions then? Or
no, because people aren't stupid. If you're bringing a friend to your family get-together, they start assuming things. They start assuming things like, oh, they're really in a relationship, but there's something wrong, they're not admitting it. Or maybe they figure, well, one of them probably likes the other, but the other person doesn't like them back enough. That's why they're not a couple outside.
Okay.
Or, wow, these people are really pathetic because they would rather hang out with friends instead of meet a potential romantic partner. There's no good that comes out of this. If you're bringing somebody to meet your family, you don't bring that person and introduce them as your friend. You either introduce them as your partner or don't bring.
Okay. They might get insulted, though. The partner might get insulted, or might feel the other way, that it's too much pressure and they don't know how to say no. So if maybe you're not there yet and your partner says, listen, I want to spend the holidays with you, but the holidays are at my folks. And they feel like, no, that's too soon. Like, I'm not ready to meet your family. I'm not ready to face all that. But then they're afraid of insulting, their partner, or afraid of hurting them.
It's important to remember that the pressures of the holiday season and everything that brings will definitely exploit the cracks in the foundation of that relationship. If you can't even have a conversation about what you feel comfortable doing, that's not a sign that there's something wrong with the holidays or the other person's family. That's a sign that there is a lack of proper communication happening in this relationship. So, the basic rule, if you have to question it, don't bring.
Okay.
I mean, when you're in a relationship with somebody, if you're happy with that person and you have a partner that you believe, wow, I see a future here, most people would be so proud to say, this is my partner and I want everybody to meet him or her.
Right.
If you're not at that point, don't make it awkward for everybody involved.
Right.
Don't invite somebody just because, well, I would feel bad if I didn't invite them.
Right.
Have a completely frank discussion, pardon the pun, and say, well, I don't really feel comfortable enough because I don't think our relationship has gotten to that point.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's what people need to know, that that's okay. People are often so afraid of saying the truth because they fear the truth will hurt, but you're better off being honest than not saying the truth, doing something against what you believe in, and then resenting your partner after. And that's when the cracks come up, because that's when the resentments can stir up stuff.
I think the cracks are there from the point where you don't feel you can be honest with your partner.
Okay.
Because that's going to flow into everything else going on in that relationship. If you're too afraid to be honest with your partner, you can't build a future. And if there's going to be this kind of mistrust or inability to truly share, what's going to happen when you do get more serious but don't have these communication skills, don't have the practice of being able to say, hey, this is my boundary and you're crossing it.
Right.
You know what's going to happen? You're going to end up in a relationship 5 years later, still having your boundaries violated, trying to figure out what you should do, but, we've put 5 years into this relationship already. I don't want to break up now and start over again.
Right, but it's playing catch-up, and that can be difficult. 514-790-0991. We're talking about holiday breakups and holiday heartbreaks, which are, as we learned, rather common at this time. If you've experienced it, then share with us. Give us a call. You can also text us at 514-800. You're listening to Dating Dilemmas right here on Passion on CJAD 800.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the book, I'm a Man, That's My Job, The Philosophy of a Seducer. Your inner game is as unique and personal as your signature or your fingerprints. This book provides you with the means to create your own seduction persona. By this, learn what it means to be a man and attract the women you want. Learn about how men and women think differently and how to take the lead in a relationship. This book is for you at franktalks.com.